All right. Okay, so we are recording, and hi everyone. I'm Connie, as everybody knows. And so today is our first session back since our summer break. And we just have a lot of fun and exciting things happening right now. And just a couple of housekeeping. We always ask that you be respectful of each other and, of course, our presenters, and mute yourself when you're not speaking. And if not, I will mute you for you. I will mute you. And we'll keep us on time so we can get out of here in 60 minutes. I know everybody has things to do. And again, if you have any additional questions for our guests, you can reach out to them, share some questions in the chat room, and we'll also have their contact information that we'll share with everybody afterwards. So what I like to do now is go around, everybody gets 1 minute, introduce yourself, just a little bit about what's up, what's going on with you, and we'll save the introduction of our guest for last. So Ken, do you want to start? Yeah, mute. Need to unmute you. Not yet. You're still on mute.
Am I muted now?
There you go.
My name is Ken Stone. I'm a spiritual messenger, an author, and a healer. And I'm new with Connie and just figuring out what the focus is going to be. I've had a complete brain cramp at the moment. What is it? Comes down to one thing. All it comes down to one thing. That's it. Anyway, I'm honored to be here. It's fun to be on the line. I'm glad I made it in time for the start. Looking forward to meeting everyone, being involved.
Great,
Thanks, Connie.
great. You're welcome. Megan, how about you?
Hey, everyone. As I said, I'm in Mississippi. I am from here. I signed with Connie, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a speaker and author and also a speaker coach. And so anyway, it's been a whirlwind these last 4, 5, 6 weeks, but it's all good. I'm super excited. I'm having a good time. I'm having fun. And that's really the goal. And so, yeah, it's nice to see everybody.
And Megan is also going to be a writer now for Forbes, and she has her first article coming out.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, all good stuff.
Super
All
excited.
good stuff. So Bethany, why don't you introduce yourself? I know you're here visiting, but share a little bit about what you do.
I am. Well, I'm not in this industry. That's why I'm here. So I met Connie and it started to spark an interest a little bit in the industry, and basically she invited me to sit in on this to potentially look at coming over as a setter and just kind of help build relationships. And I have this, I work in HR full time. So coaching and a lot of things, relationship building come naturally to me. I met Connie because I'm actually her spin instructor. So also I was like, it just comes natural. I like to dabble in a lot of things, but I'm extremely high energy. And I think that's probably like what kicked this relationship off to begin with. But so I'm here to just observe, and I appreciate you all letting me do that today.
Okay, great. Julie did pop off. So Julie is my stepdaughter, my daughter. And so she came on board with us several months ago after having her baby, and she's doing all of our creative marketing work and just doing a phenomenal job. So we offered her a full-time position to continue with us. And it's really been great. It's been really great working with her. Like I said, I know we have some more people that are said they're coming on. Some said that they will be a couple of minutes late. So just a couple announcements from the agency part. One, Megan not only is joining us and coming on as a speaker, Megan is also going to be our Dean of Coaching. So, and I know a lot of our speakers are coaches, and even those who aren't here, let me know if you want to be in and considered to be a coach for a lot of our programs that come on, because we're working with a lot of people that aren't even in the agency yet, and we're coaching them to that space of becoming that main stage speaker. So we are looking for coaches And I put this out to everybody before back in June, and I know I have a lot of people who are interested in doing that. So Megan is going to be taking on that role. So we're super excited about that. And then she'll be organizing all of the coaching programs and coaching opportunities that we have. Like Bethany said, we're actually in talks with her of her coming on and helping us with some of the setting of the appointments and setting of the gigs as well. And then on the gig side, we have a whole sales team that has just joined us as well. So we have a lot of fun and exciting things. I'm just super excited where the agency is at. We keep adding to the team, and we keep growing. We are launching a new CRM system, and that's going to launch probably like mid-October. And so we're moving all of the coaching into that space so people can go online. And of course, everybody in our community will have access to that, and that'll have tips on branding, sales, social media, technology, and then speech writing. And that's really where Megan's specialty is. She works with clients on how to be a really strong storyteller with your message in your keynote. So super cool. A lot of fun and exciting things going on. If you have any questions, just reach out to me and I'll be glad to answer them. So now let's go into our guests for today. So Gina and Terry, well, I probably know you guys, what, 6, 7, 8 years? I mean, I know as long as I've been in NSA, and that was that long. I think it was like 10 years ago. So Gina and Terry, they're a dynamic duo, and they do a lot of things. And as I mentioned before, they're really top speakers. So they're here to talk about and help you understand how Web3 technologies work. And as they say, it's a lot of mumbo jumbo and a lot of things that we don't understand. So they're going to really give us some clarity around that. So a little bit about their background. So Gina is a serial entrepreneur. She has an MBA from Harvard Business School and an engineering degree from Georgia Tech. And Terry, he is a Hall of Fame professional speaker, and he serves his clients as a marketing and communications advisor and coach. So Terry and Gina, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Connie. It is an honor to be here, and we are just really looking forward to talking about this thing called Web3. Gina, it's big, isn't it?
It is big, and there's a lot to it, but we are going to focus today on those aspects that we think will be most relevant to you in the time that we have to cover it, because we could spend days covering this, I'm sure.
Years or decades, I think, because we have. We're going to do it. But we're going to have some fun today with the technology, because we're going to be using, of course, Zoom within our keynote slides and things like that. So we're going to let you see all kinds of good stuff that's there. But first, what we want to do is want to share our screen.
Well, not just yet. No,
Okay.
Just, I want to set the stage that these changes that are happening in Web3 are going to impact your lives in ways that you just can't even imagine yet. I want you to think back to the early days of the internet. People talking about internet and email, and you're thinking, what is this? A waste of time. People started talking about social media. I don't know, it's a waste of time. These things that they've become such integral parts of your life in good ways and bad ways. Web3 is going to be probably even more transformative. And we're going to go through what we think are the most important aspects of Web3. But just to set the stage further, I want to go back further than the early 90s of the internet. Let's go back to Renaissance times, medieval times, actually. If you were born on a farm, you were going to be a farmer. If you were born to blacksmiths, you were going to be a blacksmith. You couldn't read, you couldn't write, you had no freedom, you had no money. You were very restricted in what you could do. But thanks to the inventions of the financial ledger, which allowed people to track how money is exchanged and how money is lent to people, businesses were able to start up and flourish. And because of the Gutenberg press, books became cheaper and more available, and people learned to read and write and exchange ideas. And so we are experiencing a renaissance of sorts, similar to what happened back then. And the Renaissance ushered in so many new freedoms, freedom of thought, creation, all kinds of great things. So I just want you to really see that this is such a profound change.
Yeah, I think so. You think of the major leap between what they were doing before and then when they had the printing press so that now people could read. It revolutionized the world. And so what we're talking about today is Web3, which is going to be changing our world. And matter of fact, Gina, why don't we talk about Web 1 as well?
Let's go back.
Might be wonder, well, that's Web3.
Turn that clock back.
What is the other? So we're going to reach over here and get this one and start sharing our screen. And we've been given permission to share, right? Yes, it looks like we have. That's good. And we're going to share here. There we go. You should see that on there. And then we're going to come over here and click this in so that now you should see Web 1 equals read. Are you seeing? Raise your hand if you're seeing that on your screen. So we'll know that everyone's getting, oh, very good. Well, Gina, tell us a little bit about Web 1 and what world was that?
Well, just thinking back to the early 90s when you could pull up those ugly web pages, but they were beneficial. It had a lot of information. You could start doing searches and find things. And so, but really it was just in read mode. So think of Web 1 as read. And what the inventor of one of the inventors of Netscape, Mark Andreessen, is famous for saying that the original sin of the internet is that it was government funded and thus people couldn't sell things on it.
Right.
It was not only not friendly, it was not legal to sell things on the internet. And thus your eyeballs became the way that people monetize the internet instead of exchanging for goods and services. Now, that was the original Web 1. And so that ushered in a number of problems that we're still dealing with today, such as privacy, user data collection, user data targeting, third-party ads, and misaligned incentives. So those are some of the main things. And Mark Andreessen, it's interesting to hear his interviews today when he's comparing what happened in Web 1 to what he sees happening in Web 3, in very exciting times.
Yeah, it was largely read only, where you would just tie into a website or something and you would just read what's there. There was very little interaction. But now we see things started changing with Web 2.0. Now, Web 1 was around, say, in the early 90s, up and through 2000, 2001, 2002. Around 2002, 3, 4, we started seeing Web 2.0 coming into play. And this is where we had read and write. And this is where platforms started coming out that gave us a more centralized ownership. Real key term there. Centralized. Everything would be owned by Facebook or by YouTube, which came around in 06, or by Twitter. And we saw these start to accumulate a lot of information about the users. They collected that and they had ownership on that, and they still do today. We're still largely in 2.0, which is why now privacy is a big issue. You probably have generated that. Matter of fact, raise your hand if you've had any concern about privacy working on the internet and things like that. Like, oh, they're looking at me. Oh, did they see that? Oh, and they're going, oh, look at that picture. Oh my goodness. I remember years ago when I was getting started with the internet, I said, the internet's really going to go somewhere. I was visiting my sister and a friend of hers was there. And as I said, the internet's really good. It's going to go far. She stopped. We were all of us walking together. She stopped abruptly. She said, I will never let my children get on the internet. I thought, well, why? And she said, because there's dirty pictures there and drug dealers are on there. That was her idea of the net. She was right that they were there, but also we look back now in time and realize, yeah, but there's a lot more. But you see, privacy has become even bigger now, and we know we can handle it and we work with it. And now we're up to Web 3. Web 3 gives us the ability to read and write, but also to build something of your own and to own it. That means you have opportunities right now as never before. Because when we look at what's going on with Web 3, it is just jaw-dropping incredible. It is decentralized. Rather than all the information being held in one place, much like we've seen with Bitcoin, it's owned by thousands and thousands or hundreds of thousands of computers all over, sharing the information, all sharing, and it's not going to be changed, immutable. It is crypto infused, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and others that are giving it the power to really monetize this for the average person. For someone who, say, is a single mother raising a family in the inner city, now has the opportunity to earn more than before because of crypto and the capabilities are there. It's also been called actionable and an intelligent web, so that the web knows what's going on and you can get action, get things moving and start making a living literally on that by doing things the right way. But I think here's the big thing. Circle this one and red flag it. It's community focused. We have a community called Stark Raving Entrepreneurs. And our stark raving entrepreneurs, people come in and they listen to it because of the content that we have. We're talking about a number of different areas related to content and how entrepreneurs can use this, but they stay for the community as they get to know people, and that nurturing and support, that is going to be even more accentuated on Web 3.0. And the possibilities with this, well, they're nothing short of amazing. By the way, Gina, I love that right there. Don't you just love that little space? It doesn't take a whole lot to get me excited. A little NFT thing spinning around. This is kind of neat. And so what it's going to be with that, we're going to see a number of features. It will be decentralized, even better than what we saw in 1.0. We're also going to see an idea, it's ideal for content creators, people who are producing video, who are producing audio, say with podcasts, people that are on YouTube with video, people that are bloggers, that are writers, people who are creating all kinds of wonderful options with their blogs, with their websites, because now you can get paid for this. People who like you can pay for that through tools that are available. Much like if you go to a restaurant, you have a really good meal and the server is just wonderful, you can give a little bit more. You say, I want to help her out. I want to help him out. They've really done a good job. And now people will be able to do that for creators. It's also, as I said, decentralized, which gives more autonomy, security, and privacy, something that is very, very important to us. And oh, here's one that is huge: smart contracts. So that we have to have human beings involved, and we pay commissions on something like a real estate title, or we're looking at all the steps that take place in a manufacturing process. By using smart contracts, we build that into the code that can't be changed. So that now when someone's going to get paid, they will get paid when a certain activity takes place, and you don't have to wait for old Uncle Bob, who's writing the checks, but he's not feeling well tonight and he can't write you a check for this. Instead, it's done automatically. And we're going to see Web 3.0 changing in some big ways. It's also trustless, meaning you don't have to try to trust somebody, because you know, for instance, with mathematics, 2 + 2 will always equal 4. I don't care what the knuckleheads in Washington do. It's always going to be 2 + 2 = 4. It's immutable. Well, we don't have to worry about trusting really, really good people who are really, really caring and all that. Instead, we're going to be able to go trustless, and it's going to do a lot. Well, when we look at what the heck is an NFT, well, there's a lot of things there. Gina, how would you describe an NFT, particularly as we talk about a $5 bill?
Well, if you think, so let's dissect non-fungible token. So non meaning not, fungible. What's fungible? $5 bill is fungible because I can give you one, you give me another one. I don't really care if it was the same one that I gave you or not. So it's fungible, it's easily exchangeable. Yes. Whereas non-fungible would be something more like, whoops, think of the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa hanging in France is unique. There's only one original in the world. Now, you could take one original and put it on the blockchain, and with the smart contract that's associated with it, that could also have some value. It's probably never going to have the same value as the actual original, but a copy that we see right here, right now, has essentially no value because it's fungible. I can have a digital copy and you could have a digital copy, but until it's attached to the blockchain and made specific to that, that's when it becomes fungible. Non-fungible, excuse me. Yes. And so blockchain, because of this, is a real game changer. And it gives you the ability to own something that is unique and that only you own, and you can transfer it. The value can go up, it can go down. It's a digital asset. And just think about traditional baseball cards, Pokemon cards, whatever, collectibles. That's been the first wave of NFTs, but I'm even more excited about the next wave of NFTs.
Oh yeah, because there's some really good things coming with that, with the non-fungible tokens that give us the ability to do even more. They are unique, just like your home. Even if you live in a suburb where all the houses look the same, yours is unique. You have a unique address, and it's something that you can then choose to rent to others. You can choose to sell it. You can choose to keep it. That's up to you. Also, it's rare. So we see these are not an abundance, but because they're non-fungible, they are important and they're indivisible. So this way you're able to say, this is what I own and they can't take it away from me. Now, we are not making any financial advice here at all. zero. We're not qualified for that. And we would recommend not any financial advice, but we're making strong educational advice to start learning about this. It is profoundly changing our world today, and your world is being changed and will continue to be changed. So just kind of put a little mental bookmark in there that, okay, need to learn about these things called cryptocurrencies, and need to learn about what they're talking about when they talk about NFTs, the non-fungible tokens. All of that really, really important, because when we look at them, these things can be a number of things. Now, this is where I want you to open your mind and think about it. The possibilities are enormous. It can be digital art, so that if someone puts together a picture and they say, I own this digital art, they have it, they can use it, they can keep it because they enjoy it, or they could sell it to someone else. Music. Musicians now can get paid, and we can take the starving away from musician as the adjective. And we can say, look, maybe when they put a song together, we'll write a contract so that every time this song gets played, the drummer gets this much, the songwriter gets this much, the singers get this much and this much. Whatever you want, we can do that. Pictures, same thing, because it's something we can write up these smart contracts on, will work. Video, event tickets. Now, here's one that's real big for those who are professional speakers, those who hold events or could. You can have an NFT so that only those who have an NFT or X number of NFTs can come. It can be a real world asset as well as opportunity. Here's one that's real big. Opportunity for an in-person meeting. Think, for instance, of maybe an athlete who could say, I'm going to have a meeting over here in this place, but you must have the NFT that I issued in order to come. Now, the person could buy the NFT and turn around and resell it, or they could take it and give it to someone. This opens up all kinds of possibilities, as well as for virtual meetings. So a lot of good opportunities are there, and even more is coming on that. Like, for instance, we know it right now. Here's what I consider to be the best website on the internet, and that's terrybrock.com, my website. So at least I consider it that way. Work with me a little bit on this, but it's unique to me. No one else can go out there and get terrybrock.com, much like you have a website of your own. You have something, it is unique. That's where an NFT is like that. Now, a website is not an NFT per se, but it is something that you can use in a similar kind of way. And it does a lot. Again, these are transferable, you own it, and it is blockchain registered authenticity. And that's where we go, yeah, baby, it is really nice because of the capabilities that are there. Gina, Gary Vaynerchuk did a lot with his books that he sold just recently, that he wrote about a year ago. Tell us a little bit about the story and how he blended NFTs into that.
Well, that's where I'm saying I'm really excited. I wasn't excited about NFTs and collectibles. I just wasn't. But what the new wave of NFTs that we're seeing are what are called utility-based NFTs. So there is utility. There is something beyond just the image that, yes, something functional, something sometimes tangible that is associated with NFT. So this is where the real game changing takes place. Gary could have just sold his books, and he probably would have sold a lot. But because he said, if you buy 12 books, I will give you one of my NFTs. And his previous NFT collection had already gone way up in value because digital assets, the things he was doing, they went way up in value. And so he got orders for 1 million books. I understand that in a 24-hour period, he had $1 million in sales. And because of that, this has been phenomenal. He also has NFTs are associated with his VCon conference. He just hosted the first one this year, and they had over 17,000 people, I believe. So if you bought one of his original NFTs, you were able to get a ticket to 3 of his VCons, and that's a valuable asset. You can keep it and keep going to the 3 conferences. You could sell it to someone else if you wanted to, but there's all sorts of utility and benefits. If you think about an old-fashioned fan club, just a fan club, where people, maybe it was free, or maybe people paid to be a higher level fan, to be a VIP, to get to come backstage to get their signatures or get their pictures with Gary. That's what we're talking about here. But instead of just paying a lump sum of money, It's a digital asset that's transferable. So it's very exciting times.
It is exciting when you think about it. What's happening right now is Gary had these, notice how I did it there, 12 books, you get an NFT. He is now making over $1 million each day, 365 days of the year, because of the NFTs and what's happening there and the kind of possibilities. I like the way he said it. He said NFTs are like issuing an IPO for yourself. People say, I believe in this person. I believe in what she is saying. She is so good. I want to buy her NFT so that way I've got kind of a share of stock, if you will. It's not a true one, a real share of stock, but it is similar to that. And then you're saying, I'm investing in this person. And the stock could go down. The NFT could go down in price. It could go up in price, or you might choose to just hang on to it for, well, a long time. But that is up to you. And it opens up a world of possibilities for those of us who are working in intellectual property. But also, speaking of property, Gina, you know about this from your background in real estate. It's also being used now as a house here in Florida. We had one.
Yes, I owned a real estate company for many years, and I'm excited about these options. So these NFTs are going to affect your lives in many ways, whether you like it or not, whether you want it to or not. This is the wave of the future, because these are more efficient, they're more secure, they're more private, they're more stable, and you're going to be able to exchange assets such as a car, a house, other things with fewer disputes on the titles. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, it is. And another thing here, this is important. Somebody says, hey, I graduated from such and such university. Really? Did you? We know there are some people that will say they did, and they didn't really do it. Now, you could call the university and try to hunt it down. It's a lot of work. But now, because they are issuing this at Duke University and many others as well, the class of 2022 receiving diplomas as NFTs. Someone says, I graduated from there. Really? Okay, hold on. And pull it up and we can see they can't change it. It's immutable. They either did or they didn't. And we will know a lot of things like that about that. And here's another one that is kind of real important. Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, that's Sylvester Stallone of Rocky and Rambo and all that. He's now working with a friend of ours who is helping them to develop Planet Sly, and being able to have NFTs so that if you have a certain number of NFTs, you might get a souvenir from him, or you might send something. Or if you have a little bit more, you would be invited to a video call. Maybe they do a Zoom video call where he can have only those that have so many NFTs there, or an in-person meeting, dinner, and pictures with him. So the opportunities are enormous. And this would be for the people who have those NFTs. I think there's a lot of possibilities with that. Gina, what are your thoughts?
Yes, and to the extent that people will share word of mouth, things they're excited about, but when that word of mouth also can benefit them in their ownership of different assets, the incentives are so beautifully aligned that that's just a great thing and a beautiful thing, and so powerful.
Yeah, it is. So that's there. And by the way, we've got a real treat for you as well, because here, what we're going to do is let you see this right here. Let me get a little something out of there. We just had, just recently an interview. They're not seeing it. Oh, hold on a minute. Let's see. Let's drop that and let's go over to this right here. Okay, now you can see it. There we go. Thank you. Technology is wonderful when it works. We like it. So, but we had an interview with Joel Comm, who is the person who is working with Sylvester Stallone, he and his people, and he talked about this on the interview that we did with them. And that interview is coming out tomorrow. Matter of fact, you're getting a sneak peek of it right here that we haven't even told the world. It's scheduled to go out tomorrow on YouTube, but you'll be able to see that if you go over to Stark Raving Entrepreneurs there on YouTube, and on YouTube at 12 noon Eastern time. 12 noon Eastern time tomorrow, it will be there, and you're going to get a chance to hear about what they're doing, as well as other ways that people are using NFTs from, well, one of the best literally in the world working on this right now, and seeing a lot of good things that are there and a lot of good stuff that's going to be going on and working to help you a lot. So this is happening right now.
Yeah, and Joel is one of the people that we bring in on our team when we're helping people with their NFT projects. So we have a number of relationships, and we look at what people need and their different types of their goals. And so Joel is just one of the experts that we bring in when needed. needed.
Yeah, exactly. So make sure you do that tomorrow at noon o'clock tomorrow, Eastern time. You'll be able to go over to Stark Raving Entrepreneurs there on YouTube, and you'll see what's going on and how that's working. Now, here's another friend of ours who's very active in this. His name is Brian Fanzo, and he is also a member of the National Speakers Association. And Brian has done something that's a really breakthrough, worldwide, cutting edge stuff, creating an NFT every day for 365 days in a year. He is on track to do that. He will complete that by November the 11th, I think it is, when he'll do that. And what he has done is he's releasing these or buying these and getting a chance to do it. He even has his own coin now, so that if you, like Brian, you can go out and buy his ADHD coin. He has a diagnosis of ADHD, and he runs with that, plays with it, and has fun with it. So you can buy it for that price. It can go up or down, but this gives you access to certain meetings that he'll have, certain event only, ADHD coin only holders who get that. So the possibilities are enormous.
Let me just make a distinction here. Because it can be confusing, but there's different ways to use these technologies to reward your community members and to incentivize them to do things that you want them to do. This is an example of what's often called a creator coin or a social token. And so it's much like a cryptocurrency within his community. It's like Brian funds that can be used within his community, or it could be cashed out for something else. Similarly, but it's different than an NFT. So NFTs are used sometimes, creator coins are used sometimes, and those are some of the nuances that, again, based on your goals and what you're trying to accomplish, that we would say, oh, you might need a social token right now, or you might need an NFT right now, would be some of the things we would look at.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things that we get a chance to learn, and don't worry about trying to master all of it right now. Just understand our world is changing, and this is for the better, for creators particularly, to be able to do a whole lot more. So you might do something similar to what Brian has done here, that Brian has his coin, but this gives a lot of capabilities. And by the way, make a note of this. Get your camera ready to go. We had an interview with Brian himself, the man who's doing this. And here it is. It's out available right now at bit.ly/fanzo_NFTs, or there's a QR code for you if you want to hold your smartphone up and grab that. This will be really helpful. We're not selling anything. There's no cost on this at all. It's just you get a chance to learn about what is going on right now, how people like professional speakers are doing this in a profound way and really changing the world for a lot of good.
And Brian is another one of the experts that we bring in when needed. And I just want to acknowledge that I see questions coming in, and great, keep the questions coming in. We will definitely come back and address those.
Yeah, we want to get to those right away. And here's a wonderful new approach for events. Now, this one really strikes me as a professional speaker because it's a really important. Matter of fact, I'm looking over here in the gallery view and I see Jim Cathcart is here. I salute Jim Cathcart, my buddy, my friend, and I'm going to tell all of you watching, both live and recording, this is the man who introduced me to the National Speakers Association back in 1988. We were both speaking in New York and at a hotel there. He talked to me about, he said, "Are you a member of the National Speakers Association?" I said, "Well, what is that?" And he wrote a number down on a piece of paper, and he wrote the number down, 602-968-2552. And that was the number at that time because it was 602, not a 48, none of this 408 or 80 stuff kind of right now. No, but Jim, I thank you for that, sir. And it's good to have you here with us today. Thank you. Here's something that has changed and is changing the speaking world right now with CEX and the man named Joe Polizzi. Joe is well known for his Content Marketing Institute that he founded and then sold a few years ago for about $17.5 million. Making money with this, he now has what's called the Creator Economy Expo. And this is where Gene and I both got involved. He has his own version of an NFT, the non-fungible token, called a never-ending ticket. Listen to this and how he does it. You buy it once and you attend forever free, any events that they have. We went to the conference that he had in May out in Phoenix, and it was, I think, about $1,000 or so to go to attend. However, if you buy the other ticket, the never-ending ticket, for approximately $2,000, a little bit different, $2,000, you get attendance forever free, but that's not all. You also get many other benefits, like NET holders have their events that are only for them. So you're getting a chance to hang around with exclusive people. Private backstage meeting with the key speakers, which is kind of nice, and exclusive endorsements as well. All kinds of things like that, including virtual and in-person events that are available. Group coaching, so that if you as a speaker or as an expert on something, you might choose to have an NET for all those who are in your group every third Tuesday in the month or something, and you would be able to do that. Special Discord access. You get daily access to geniuses in a particular field because you have access to it. You just decide to do it. One-on-one coaching with the guru. Introductions to key resources. Because you're an NET holder, hey, the guru is then going to introduce you to some key people that they know. They'll be working with you on that. Discounts for new products or services as they come out. Co-produce a podcast or a video. The possibilities are enormous. And so for those of you who are experts who speak or write, you coach, maybe you're a consultant, the possibilities are enormous. I'm saying this is a wake-up call to start studying. Again, no financial advice here, but we're giving plenty of educational advice to do that. And then, by the way, don't forget, buyers can resell. So you might buy that NET that we've got, we both have that, and say 5 years from now, for whatever reason, we decide, hey, we got a lot of value out of that. We went to meetings, we had all these other things, but we want to do something else now. We can sell our NET for whatever the market price is at that time. We might lose some money. Hey, it could go up, but we're willing to do that to say, hey, we're getting all these goodies and this information regardless. So I encourage you to start looking into this and think about the possibilities. And by the way, make a note of this also. We were able to talk to Joe, interviewed him extensively on how creators can do this, how speakers can do this, how actors and athletes will be able to do this as well. And there's the bit.ly and there's the QR code. So you can take advantage of that and find out about it from one of the best in the world, Joe Polizzi himself there talking about that. Some really good things are up and working with it. Well, Gina, we've got a little bit of time left here. Virtual and augmented reality are amazing. Tell us about that.
Yes, well, certainly the NFTs and the cryptocurrencies of blockchain are really critical to Web3. And another aspect of Web3 that's just going to rock your world and totally change the way you do things is virtual reality. And while it may seem a little silly because a lot of people are using it for playing games and things like that right now, it's going to have very serious ramifications and uses in the business world, holding meetings, doing training, practicing skills. Those of you who might be actors, this is a great way for you to interact with others without physically being in the same place. And it's so much, it's going to be much better than just doing even a Zoom call to do those kind of practices and such. So in fact, well, let's walk through this. And we had quite a tour of the world this morning in virtual reality ourselves. We'll show you some pictures in just a minute.
Yeah, no, as of right now, we know that Facebook has changed their name to Meta, and Meta is really basing their future on it. And where we are right now, we're in the starting stages. Now is the time for you to start studying and learning about this, because the ramifications for professional speakers are enormous for making presentations come alive in an immersive way. We have changed ourselves, matter of fact. We before had our group called Video Rock Stars, helping people with video. That was a real need during the pandemic, particularly. But now we've realized we're doing a lot more than that. Now we're doing a lot of entrepreneurial ventures. So we came up with the idea of stark raving entrepreneurs based on an idea of live and let live. That's our core philosophy, that things should be done voluntarily. Everything should be voluntary, never initiate force or coercion, and live and let live. If somebody wants to do something, let them do it. As long as they're not harming someone else, that's the key. And this is what we have done in our group. Notice some of you will know Jan Spence. She is a certified speaking professional. She's doing a lot with this. Notice above her picture there, you'll see she's got her helmet on there. She has that guy. Oculus on. Yeah, the Oculus. And I did too, but you'll see over there in the auditorium, that's me. That's my avatar. It doesn't look exactly like me, but it's my avatar. And she did that to show what we could do is go to lectures and interact immersively with it. Then she showed me how I could just pull up a little pen on there and start writing in the middle of the air to make notes, to say, oh, here are 3 things you want to remember, or here's this, or I can type it in there because my handwriting isn't that good, but we can put that in there and all kinds of possibilities. And here's what Gina was talking about this morning. We were asked to participate in a very special, first of a kind an opening in the world of Meta, the metaverse, to see what's like. We went here to the beach. We got a chance to see it, to look around here to see what was it, and interface with the people here as well. Gina, that was incredible.
So we were on the beach in California, and then we jumped over to a rooftop disco dancing place here
In Miami.
on a rooftop in Miami. Yes, you can see us there. Our little head bubbles are above our icons.
Yeah.
And then we went to Aspen,
Colorado.
to tour the conference rooms there.
And so you think about this, what you can do is you can simulate something that is almost, not quite, but almost like you are actually there. When you put your visor on, you put that Quest on, you go into another world. And it is incredible how you can have that so immersive in learning, much more real than even as good as Zoom is. This takes it to another level. And so I would say for those of you who are professional speakers, who are actors, athletes, look into the possibilities here. We're studying this now, doing it and working with it ourselves. Here's another one here. When we went to Miami, we felt right at home being from Florida right here.
We were just in Miami.
Yeah, we were just in Miami. So a lot of good there. And I'm saying, this is what you want to do. Here's some opportunities for it. It's a next level in training. It is really going to involve much more than just you see something and you hear it. You're experiencing it. It also has a much more immersive learning. I'm studying language right now, studying Spanish, and I keep hearing the benefits of immersion learning. And I have to agree, it helps because I got a long way to go. But now when you can do that with other topics too, it's phenomenal what is capable. Cost savings for your clients, where they're going to get trained with people quickly, and they don't always have to get on an airplane and then rent the hotel rooms and take care of all the stuff that's costing there. This can be done almost as good as being right there in person, in many cases better. And greater income sources for those who say, okay, here's a new technology. I don't know it right now, but hardly anybody does. But if you're willing to pay the price to learn that, then there could be some opportunities. And again, no financial recommendation, but just saying, wait a minute, this is something that you need to be aware of. Look into what's available out there and how you can make that. And so, and we're just at the beginning of it. It actually reminds me, I remember Jim Cathcart, you'll remember this, when I would speak for NSA back in the early 90s. And I'd say, there's this thing called the internet and you need to get on it. And there's this thing called email. It's really going to be good. People go, what's email? I know what mail is. What do you mean email? What is that? And I say, you got to get on this thing. Well, that's where we are right now. When we look at virtual reality with Web3 and NFTs, we're at the beginning. So here's some possibilities. Here's what I recommend for you to do. The most important thing, build your community. Get people that love what you're doing, that are coming to watch your videos, that are coming to listen to your podcasts, that are reading your blog, that are getting involved with you when you have a live Zoom meeting. You want to build that community and also learn how to accept micropayments. Gina, tell us a little bit about that and how that works.
Well, it's really quite simple. It's almost as simple as putting a PayPal link on your website. You can put a link so that someone can pay you directly in Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever cryptocurrency of your choice. And there are platforms like a PayPal for cryptocurrency that are going to become more prevalent soon.
Yeah, we're seeing that happen, and major things happening there. And you could create your own token or NFT. So possibilities are enormous. And if we've blown your mind just a little bit today, that's okay. That means you're a human being. And I want you to say, hey, okay, we have to think about that, what Gina and Terry were saying, and maybe start reading up on that a little bit, because this is a game changer now. We are seeing the world changing in some profound ways, and you get to be a part of it right now. And if you go out there and start studying it, you're going to find about a world peacefully and voluntarily. That is our goal, that we have a world with peace, voluntary interactions, and be able to grow and to prosper in many, many different ways. And really, that's what the world should do. And I think we've got some real good opportunities here that we are looking forward to talking with you about.
Yes, well, much like our medieval ancestors, much more freedom, much more ability to choose what you want to do with your life, much more just great opportunities. And I do see some questions here. So Connie, would you like us to go to the questions in the chat? Would you like to just read them out to us? That might be
yeah,
easy.
let me read them out to
Please.
you. So how does somebody get into Web3? Like, where do they start?
Gina, you want to take that?
Well, you've already started probably if, especially like if you own cryptocurrencies,
Mhm.
you've probably already interacted with Web3 technology. Web3 it's like nobody said, oh, the door closes to Web1 and Web2 starts. It's evolving, and so Web2 is merging into Web3, and people say Web 2.5 or Web 3.5. So you're just going to be over time interacting with these technologies, and the term smart contract is going to come up, and different brands that you're involved with, especially if you're a sports fan, professional sports fan, or a college sports fan, or many different brands. Disney's doing their own NFTs. There are these NFTs that are going to be given to you, or you're going to have the opportunity to purchase them with the different benefits. So just know that's what's going on, and it's not going to say Web3 necessarily. Make sense?
Yeah, and I would say also some magazines that you want to get into and some blogs to look at. Bitcoin.com is a good place to go to get information, start reading about it. Cointelegraph.com, another good place to get information on what's going on. You'll hear about crypto, you'll hear about NFTs there and other places. And also the University of YouTube. That's where we learn a lot today, seeing what is there. And I would say our Stark Raving Entrepreneurs web channel, the YouTube channel, you would find a lot of articles and videos that we have there as well, speaking in plain English, showing you what to do and how to do that.
Okay, so Jim has a question. How do you use NFTs once you've bought one?
Well, once you have then you're in that community. Like for instance, with us in the Joe Polizzi, we have the NFT that he's calling the NET, kind of a little take on that, the never ending ticket. We now get access to the Discord channel. We get access to the meetings, so that now when they've got another meeting coming up next May in Cleveland this time, we get to go for free, because we have the ticket. So you would buy something from someone who is selling that. Brian Fanzo, for instance, has a lot of awards and capabilities for people who buy his ADHD coin and get involved with him in certain ways. So I would say find those people that you like. For whatever reason, they might be, say, in fitness, and you like what they do in fitness. They might be getting involved with that, or someone who might have a particular philosophy, and they teach that philosophy. Study the market to see who is there, and then getting the NFT, we'll go through crypto. Usually we get something like Ethereum or Bitcoin, getting some of that, and then be able to go and purchase that in the right way. Get some help on that, because right now it's a little more confusing than I would like it to be. And so that means there's an entrepreneurial opportunity out there for people to make it easier. And whenever you see a problem, instead of saying, oh, problem, I go, oh, problem, I'll bet you we might be able to try to solve that. Let's see what we can do.
But we definitely think alike that way, because I always say if there's a problem, we need to fill that gap.
Yeah.
So the next two, I guess they're kind of intertwined. So is there a special software that's needed? I guess different technology is going to come up. And what you see coming into the future, is that really going to put us in a paperless society?
Ooh, well, it probably could. We're almost there now. We've seen that in the pandemic. Sometimes you go in and try to pay for something in cash, which, hey, I think all of us grew up with that. They'll say, we don't take cash. You know, you don't what? You don't take cash? I mean, before it was just like a joke, like, do you accept cash? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And people would always say, well, of course, the US dollar would be accepted pretty much anywhere on the planet. Different today because of credit cards and because of that. But now we see you can also find many places where they're accepting Bitcoin and they're accepting cryptocurrencies, and that is valid. And again, everything I feel should be done legally. Do it legally, get your accountant to tell you how to treat that, but it can be a very good way to do that. Gina, any thoughts on your part?
Yes. So think about that. There won't be a need for the papers regarding real estate transactions necessarily. It'll all be digitized. There won't be the need for papers regarding your medical records, digitized, so that as you wish, different entities can have access to them. And just here at home, we happen to have a brand new scanner, and Terry's putting a lot of his handwritten and paper documents on there and putting them on the web. So it's not necessarily a Web3 thing, but yes, increasingly the world's going paperless.
Yeah, when you think about it, when you just look on the medical side, the medical benefits are enormous. Like for instance, if you need to go see your dentist, you would want your dentist who's maybe going to do some major oral surgery to have records of what has happened in the past. So you would give that information to your dentist, but your dentist doesn't need to know about that foot operation you had 7 years ago in most cases. And so you wouldn't need to share that information. You would control who gets what. And you would be able to say, I want this person to have that. I don't want them to have this right here. And that's private. I want to retain that privacy. It's not like, oh, what are you trying to hide? Well, no, we all have doors on our homes and we say, no, this is private. We don't want the whole world seeing it. And that's something that is very important. Blockchain, cryptocurrency gives us the ability to do that as never before. And it is really bringing help to people who don't have as much right now. I'm excited to see how it's empowering them. For example, in El Salvador, Bitcoin is now legal tender. You think of a single mother who's taking care of children at home, a lot of their money might come from remittance. People who were from El Salvador come to the United States, Canada, Europe, they earn money and send it back home. And since they don't have enough money to have a bank account, they will use Western Union or they'll use wire transfer, which is taking a 20, 30, 40% cut. And then when they go to the place where they can get the money in El Salvador, the bad guys know that they're getting money and they're waiting for their cut of that as well. So this poor single mother comes away with hardly anything of that money. But now with Bitcoin, it's transferred. She gets it almost immediately with the Lightning Network. They're very low fees using the Bitcoin, the Lightning Network. It's 100% legal to do that in El Salvador. It's legal to do it here in the United States, but check with your accountant to make sure you're following the proper IRS protocols and all that. But it's a game changer. Our world is changing for the better. We're going toward a much more decentralized way of doing things, which gives you more opportunities than ever before.
Okay, and the next question you basically, well, two questions you did answer. Check with your accountant about the legalization and also your tax implications. And then the next one too, does it need to be tangible? Like you were talking about Gary Vaynerchuk. But I think you've answered that one as well. So it can be something of a service offering that you can put out there as well.
Absolutely. Now you can agree to work for someone and they pay you in Bitcoin or in crypto or whatever it is. I feel that adult human beings should be able to work and exchange ideas back and forth with each other. And as long as it's exchanged done voluntarily and peacefully and whatever the two of them agree upon.
So would both parties need to have some type of account set up specific for that?
Probably, yes, they would need that. If I'm going to buy something, say if I want to say, well, that Jim Cathcart guy is really good. I want him to come here and speak for my folks. And I said, Jim, can you do that? He goes, well, Terry, for the right price. I go, okay, well, let's negotiate. Okay, how about for this and X dollars? Is that okay? We kind of come to an agreement. If he has and wants to receive Bitcoin and I have it, I could pay him in Bitcoin. But it would have to be both parties agreeing to that.
Okay, so when somebody's setting this up, like Sylvester Stallone, you had on there that he had 9,997 NFTs. What is the value of that NFTs and who puts the value on that?
That's an excellent question. The value is just like anything else in the world. What is the value of the US dollar? It's only good because so I can give that dollar, I can give a $100 bill or $200 bills to someone and they will give me some goods or services that I value. If I gave you a Terry dollar, which would be worth nothing other than the papers on it, you go, what is that? You know, I can say, but I think it's worth $1 million. Well, what I think doesn't count. What does count is what is there. And so you have to look at the value is intrinsic in it. For instance, if we were on a desert island and I had suitcases full of $100 bills, but it was just us on the desert island and we're hungry and we don't have anything else, those $100 bills wouldn't mean anything. Neither would gold or silver or Bitcoin. What would matter is what people consider useful at the moment. And that's where the value comes. What is the value of Apple stock or Microsoft? It's only the value that others attribute to it at any given moment. And that's where we find Bitcoin is like that. It's up, it fluctuates quite a bit. And you want to make sure that you're very careful when you're investing. Do not sell everything you've got and go into crypto. Wouldn't recommend that at all, but would recommend, again, studying it and learning about it.
Ooh.
So specifically regarding Sly, I believe his are still on hold. They were supposed to have been sold earlier this year, and because of the crypto winter, they went on hold and they were rescheduled for September. I'm trying to see in my Discord if they've actually launched or not, but prices to be determined. And it's just like if you have art and you put it out on auction, Well, what you think it's worth or what you want to get is one thing, and then the market's going to determine.
Yep.
Okay, okay. And that question came from one of our athletes that couldn't be here. And because, former NBA player, and he has some items, some pieces that he was talking about, how do I put it out there? How do I price it? So we're definitely going to have him have a separate conversation with you, because you guys, like, yeah, mind blown, game changer, everything that you're sharing here today. Does anybody else have any questions? Let's see. Jim. Jim is saying the cool thing is that by participating in the digital economy is that we will naturally and organically figure out new and better applications for these assets.
Absolutely. That's the
We
free
don't even have
market
to
work.
work to do it. It just sort of evolves because it's kind of like problem solving. How do you find your way around a new piece of software or an app? By experimenting and failing. And then you go, oh, here's something it did nobody ever thought of. Yeah.
Exactly. And also you find people that might know just a little bit more. You say, hey, could you show me how to do that? And if you need to pay them, that's okay. Then they can take it instead of this much time. Now you can do it in this much time. So having those people and studying and being willing to get out there and bump your head against a wall, don't hurt yourself. I mean, I'm using this metaphorically, but keep experimenting, learning. And also another real important thing, get with a good community. A community of people who are actively learning the same type of thing. If you get with people, we've been involved in groups that are actively working in Bitcoin and crypto, they help us a lot. Because I can say, hey, how do you do this? I don't understand this. They go, oh, Terry, watch, you do this, this, and then that. Oh, that's how you do it. Okay, let me try that. So keep learning, keep an open mind, and get ready for some fun, because it's a lot of fun in this world now.
Yeah, I'm super interested in it, and we've had several conversations. What is the name of your community?
It's
So that we
Stark
can
Raving
share.
Entrepreneurs. So Stark Raving, we figure we can be anything. So I just came up with that. I was talking on the phone to somebody a few years ago, and I just said, well, I'm just a Stark Raving entrepreneur. And Gina said, hey, that's a good name. She immediately
that.
jumped on and went over to GoDaddy and reserved it. And I'm glad she did.
But a great way for your folks to plug into our community. I'm just going to pop it into the chat here.
Yes.
We host weekly free training.
Every Wednesday.
And starkravingevent.com will let you get signed up for that so that you can plug in, see what we're doing.
No charge.
Next week, I think we're doing email training, and the next week sales training. And just yesterday we had someone training on Summit. So we don't do Web3 every week, but we sprinkle it in, and we're getting our folks more used to it and accustomed to it. And I love Jim's comment. He had a lot of experience as an avatar in Second Life, going around and doing presentations in that.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities between what was done in Second Life and what we're now seeing in Meta. And it's getting ready to take a leap forward as Meta, which was formerly Facebook, is releasing a new headset in just a few weeks. So it looks like it's going to be, oh my goodness, jaw-dropping good.
Yeah, I see you had on, I think, Facebook today. You had a picture of it, Gina.
Yes,
As
yes.
you were unpacking.
Oh,
You were unpacking.
exactly.
Pretty
Yes.
cool. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool. So we are at the top of
Question
the
for
hour.
Gina.
Go ahead, Jim.
Has Terry gotten you to ride the unicycle?
That's
I
a great
tried it while I
question.
was there. I think I went 11 feet.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
No, he has not.
No.
Not yet. Not yet.
But it's welcome anytime we can do that. I'm hoping that someday I'll be able to afford two wheels. That's my goal in life, that I can afford two wheels instead of just the one.
Oh my gosh, how funny. So that is it, Gina and Terry. Thank you so much
Thank
for all
you.
of this, information. And I know it's a lot for everybody. And if you want to learn more, jump on their Wednesday calls. Do you have to go online to register? You want people to register ahead of time?
Yes, they need to, that takes
Okay.
them to a Zoom registration page.
Okay.
And let me just say that Gina@ginacar.com will get you to my email, Terry@terrybrock.com will get you to Terry. And for anyone who's wondering, am I ready? Do I have everything I need to have? And what are the future steps to launch a creator coin or an NFT or get started in virtual reality? Just get in touch with us and we will, no charge at all. We'll give you a free strategy call and just talk about what we see are the options and the best next steps.
Absolutely, because so many people have helped me, including Jim Cathcart, who helped me a lot. I'm delighted to be able to help you out. If you're saying, oh, what am I going to do? So a lot of this is over my head. I don't know what it is. Welcome to the party. We're all like that, but we're learning together. And if we can help
Right.
you, we want to do that. Thank you
Yes.
for everything.
And if you
Yeah.
follow Connie's instructions, you're going to be in good shape for launching these one day.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. And Jim Cathcart, I'll give a plug for him too. Jim is also a mentor of mine as well for a lot of years. So I also thank him. So Jim, we're putting you on the spot today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Man, this is, love fest. Bring it, bring it. Bring it. No, stop.
We appreciate you, Jim.
Thank you.
Hi,
Okay,
Megan.
guys,
Hi, Bethany.
that-
Hi, Jen.
that is all we have for today. My final announcement is that the showcase is coming back and we are going live. And I'm super excited about that. And as what we were planning to do in 2020, and we are going to Nashville, and it will be April 24 to 26. It will be in Nashville, and we will have all of the information and registration coming out mid-October. So stay tuned for that. And again, we're super excited, and we debated on where to go, and we thought, well, you know what? We were going to Nashville. Let's just stay there. So that's where we're going. So thanks everybody for being here. Those on the recording, if you have any questions for me or Terry or Gina, make sure that you reach out to us. But for everybody, check this out. I mean, super check it out. I know I'm going to be on your next Wednesday call.
Oh, wonderful. Connie, thank you so much. We
Thank you.
appreciate you having us here.
All right, appreciate you too. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
See ya.